It's my pleasure to introduce Isabel Medellín. Isabel serves as Vice President of Talent Acquisition and Culture Consulting at Steelcase, where she leads transformative strategies to attract, retain top talent while advancing inclusive, high-performing cultures. With more than 25 years of experience in talent strategy, organizational change, and leadership development, she brings deep expertise in fostering workplaces where people feel empowered and inspired to do their best work. I've been around Isabel, and I can attest she leads with both her head and her heart. So please join me in welcoming Isabel.
Thank you so much, Rodney, for the warm welcome, and thanks everyone for joining us today. More than ever, it's so important having spaces like this where we can grow and learn together and exchange perspectives. So please help me giving a big applause to Rodney and everyone in the chamber team. Maddie, yes, everyone. Thank you so much for making today's summit possible. Some of the most frequent questions I get are, what does it mean, high-performing teams? And what is the role that inclusive leadership plays into that? And before we dive into the answers, I invite you to pause for a moment, take a breath, and reflect. What does it mean, high-performing teams and inclusive leadership to you? As a person, as a professional, and as organization. And let's ground ourselves in a simple but profound truth. Business isn't only about strategy, products, or metrics. Business is about people. And when we lose sight of it, we are putting at risk the purpose that is bringing us together today. Attracting talent, retaining talent, and creating cultures where all people and business can thrive. Let me share a powerful quote that reminds us of this principle. 100% of customers are people. 100% of employees are people. 100% of investors are people. If you don't understand people, you do not understand business. Simon Sinek. And this is so important because at the end of the day, if we want to attract and retain talent and better serve our organizations and our customers, at the end of the day, we need to put people at the center of what we do. And I want to ask you, how do you do that? What are the different tools or methodologies or things that you explore to get a deep understanding of people? And what are their needs, their hopes, their pains, and their wishes? To navigate this, one of the concepts I want to share with you today morning is culture by design. That in essence is the act of intentionally shaping the culture that you want to influence, so you don't leave it to the chance. There are multiple ways of achieving this. For us at Steelcase, we use the design thinking methodology, and we have 5 steps: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. And I want to bring your attention to the first one, empathize. This is so important, because it's about connecting with people, could be through empathy interviews, through survey, through multiple channels. But at the end of the day, is have this intentionality and deep understanding on what is your team perspective, what they are dreaming about, what are some of the challenges or obstacles they are experiencing. And then, you move to the ideation phase. So I will say empathy gives you this inspiration. And then you move to the ideation phase. And what I want to highlight here is that this ideation should be rooted in inclusive design. That for us, it means co-designing with people, co-creating with people, problem-solving together. So eventually, we prototype and test things, and we move to the implementation phase. And it is not a coincidence that this big bubble, the implementation one, the yellow one, is the biggest. And I put it in this size because it is hard and it takes longer, especially when we are looking to drive a long-term, sustainable, transformative change. So what is your definition, your perspective about high-performing teams? And what does it mean to you? There is multiple external research. For example, years ago, Deloitte shared about the 6 traits of inclusive leadership. And they talk about courage, curiosity, collaboration, cultural intelligence, and more. Harvard also has shared extensive research on this topic, talking about how to empower and equipping people to problem solve together and consider diverse perspectives to come with new ways of thinking. For us at Steelcase, I would like to share about inclusive leadership, making an analogy. And please walk with me in this visioning exercise. Imagine that you are entering into a forest, and you see these towering trees and this strong, and beautiful forest. Even you can see the sunlight. But what you don't see are the roots. So for us, inclusive leadership and high-performing teams are rooted in our core values, in our strategy, in our vision to help the world to work better, in our systems too. And I want to highlight the systems piece because all of us may have great vision and strategies and meaningful core values. But the key is how we activate that, how we make this actionable. For us, we came with different ways, to make this actionable. There are different talent strategies for attraction, for retention, but at the end, the topic that I want to highlight for you is our leadership pillars, because we are talking in this summit about different outcomes that we want to see, such as greater attraction, retention, and making of West Michigan a place where all can thrive. So I want to ask you, what is your vision? What are your core values? When was the last time that your organization, your team, revisited this? So you ensure that you stay relevant, especially in current times. We recently revisited our core values. We continue to keep some of these, such as acting with integrity and treating each other with dignity and respect, and we add a few others. One of these is we hold ourselves and each other accountable. And I love that, because at the end of the day, all of us need clear accountabilities. So the how to pursue that, in our case, we came with our leadership pillars that for us are a channel, an avenue, a system to enable our team and our organization to activate our vision, to activate our strategy, and to live our core values. So we have building strong teams, unite in purpose, create clarity, cultivate resilience, and deliver results. And I will touch only on a couple of these. For example, building strong teams, as well as the other leadership pillars, we have specific behaviors that we must demonstrate, to enable this. For building strong teams, one of the expected behaviors is valuing differences, and we embrace diverse perspectives. That is essential for any strong team. Another example is unite in purpose. To unite in purpose, we need to activate our core value of treating all with dignity and respect, and we need to champion inclusion. And last but not least, the deliver results piece. According to our core values, and as company, we also have different systems and mechanisms to influence our accountabilities. And we have an employee voices surveys that goes out every quarter, and we get feedback on culture, on people engagement, on people perceptions of inclusion and belonging. Also, there are surveys for performance management. So leaders see anonymous results, but they get feedback, about how they are doing, how the teams are doing, and we have some other mechanisms that helps with this. So my question for you is, what are the different systems and mechanisms and tools that you have to make your core values and your culture actionable? And I want to share an example of our culture in motion. And it was a few years ago when we redesigned our culture strategy and we followed the design thinking methodology. We partnered with our employees, with people from across the globe, to identify what were some of the opportunities and the needs to better support them and advance our culture work. So one, they provide, our employees provided excellent insights and feedback to make us better. And one of these was about how to better support our BIGs or business inclusion groups. In other organizations, you may know these as ERGs. We call them BIGs. And basically, they mention there is inconsistent support and there are multiple opportunities to make us stronger. So after following this design thinking methodology and co-creating our approach to BIGs with them, we came with different areas of focus. For example, all of them unite around inclusion, growth, and innovation. So our BIGs are open to all employees, and people have the choice and control to stay in the inclusion focus and enjoy these safer spaces and create community. Others may say, I want to spend more time on the growth piece. So we can share with them access to different learning pathways and different experiences so they practice different skills that support their career development, such as joining a project, participating in any of our town halls, and more. And last but not least, the innovation piece, where those who want to share some insights with the business, they can do that. So it is fantastic to see how our business inclusion groups are making a tremendous impact in our culture and our organizational performance. And from that time when we redesigned the strategy, we had 5 business inclusion groups, and now we have 12 across the globe. All of them have these pillars. They have support assigned, they have executive sponsorship, they have a budget. And here are the examples that I want to share at high level with you today. One is our Steelcase salutes, dedicated to better serve, our veterans community and their families. And I want to echo Redney's comment to thank our veterans for their service, for their courage, and also for the skills and the competencies that they share with all of us. In this case, Steelcase Salud got a call from USO to share about an opportunity to provide, some of our product services for the aircraft, and help, in this case, the Marines when they are, in long deployments and are far away from home, how to create these spaces so people can rest and re-energize and nurture their well-being. So it was a challenging project because the timeline was very tight, but Steelcase Salud helped us to learn. They put in action their skills for strategy, for leadership, partnered with our sales team, and some weeks later, here we have some of our Steelcase Salud team members delivering by their own our products in the USS George Washington. So this is bigger than us. Beyond a product or a service is create community, create belonging, and create those spaces for people to have meaningful connections. Another example is our Steelcase Adapt Business Inclusion Group, which focuses on better supporting those who may experience disability in any form. Steelcase Adapt, in addition to create a great impact in our culture, they have been closely partnering with our World Better communities as well as with our inclusive design team and providing insights. Also, they have been partnering with some community organizations such as disability advocates in Kent County, so we can design with and not for and create better work experience for all. And last but not least, our Be Big. This stands for Black Experience Business Inclusion Group. They, for the first time ever, launched a few months ago their first US summit, looking to create spaces for brave conversations, for learning about people's needs and ideas and how to better support our Black community. And also they partner with different community organizations. So we hosted some sessions for our employees, salary as well as hourly, and others that were open to all the community. So to me, this is fantastic. This is a great example of seeing culture in motion, to seeing leaders supporting the different strategies or initiatives that we have to influence these high-performance teams. And all this, makes me want to share with you a personal story. So let me share a story that shaped how I look at this topic and how I see sometimes things. And please walk with me. This is a childhood memory. Every weekend, we used to visit my great-grandmother's house. Her house is immaculated, always warm, always full of stories. And my mother one day asked me, Isabel, help your great-grandmother and walk her to the bathroom. I'm like, why? Why I have to do that? And I learned something that stunned me. My great-grandmother was blind. I run and hug her and say, hey, let's walk together. And I was just a child. I was a little kid, distracted. I was chatty until she gently pulled my hand and whispered, Isabel, be mindful. There is a step ahead. I froze. How do you know that? You can see. How do you know that? And she told me, I have counted every step in this house. I know every room. I feel the textures, and I listen deeply. So I walk with intention. And the why I'm sharing this with you is because we have talked about methodologies and frameworks and strategy. But at the end of the day, the essence of today's message is simple. Walk with intention. Be mindful of amplifying your senses through design thinking methodology or any other tool that you like, but be mindful of amplifying your senses to truly understand your people. And as the quote in the beginning, to truly understand your customers and everyone around you. And amplify others' voices. And also make visible all talent. And make others' unseen strengths visible. So, in closing, I invite you to keep walking with me in the purpose that brought us together today, making of West Michigan a stronger place for talent attraction and retention, a place where all people can thrive. Thanks again for walking with me today.